Okay, boys, here is a build that shouldn't exist. And actually, I wasn't even thinking of making a video on this. I was just memeing around, but it ended up working really well. So I just started this nightmare dungeon. And I thought, screw it. Let's make a build guide for this build here, which is, I'm calling it the Thorns Barb. We have no attacks, just shouts. No uber uniques either. This is just regular gear, and you only really need one unique here to boost your damage up a bit. Other than that, you're pretty much just running regular old legendaries. And I'll talk a little bit about the build, as much as there is to talk about while I'm doing this dungeon. And I'll also, of course, break it down, skills, gear, Paragon at the end, and include a build planner down in the description. Now, the dungeon I'm doing is a tier 100. Here are the affixes that I have on this one, just so you know I'm not, like, you know, leveraging anything to make the build look stronger than it actually is. I won't be taking the shrines because shrines are cheating. And, yeah, I mean, this is a, this is a weird build. But let's quickly run through. And actually, while I'm doing this, you can see I just started this one here, and I was like, you know, screw it, I'm going to do a video. While I'm doing this, I'll just quickly talk about what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days. So I will be doing the race to 100 for Last Epoch tonight, or later today, depending on where you are in the world. And then I'll be away for about a week, or just a little bit more than a week in England. So it'll be kind of radio silence on my end, I'm afraid. And you know, I will be around on the Discord, of course, so if you have questions and anything like that, you can always jump in there, and I'll be around to chat and all that kind of good stuff. But, yeah, got to go and have, like, a wedding, a second wedding, so that my parents can, you know, see it, if you know what I mean. Let's quickly crack through here. If you're wondering about the elixir as well, that's the cheat death elixir. That's a hardcore only item. It just keeps me temporarily alive if I go below 0. So I'm not using, like, you know, anything to make the build again look stronger than it actually is, though. I could make it look a hell of a lot better than this. But I wanted to give you guys, like, just the... I really wanted to run home just how strong this build is if you have the right sort of combination of things and build into it properly. I'm not going to try and tell you it's the fastest build in the world, but it's definitely the laziest. And I think for some people, that might just be what they're looking for. Why press 6 buttons when you can press 3? Am I right? That's a lot of enemies. Holy crap. Whee! Oh! There's an enemy champion in here, which is kind of this build's weakness, because you don't have, like, any way to... Oh my god, they're gone. Yeah, they're gone. You don't have any way to kind of, like, target or focus your DPS. It's just kind of an AoE that comes from your character, so you just got to try and stand next to them, hope for the best. But, I mean, if you haven't guessed it already, this is, of course, a Thorns build. And where it really shines is when you just stand still. Because we've built in a calm in this. So we get a big old damage boost when we just stand in the middle of the room and do nothing. So I'm going to see if I can do that here. I'm just going to not move. No matter what. I don't care what happens. I'm going to stand right in the middle of this room until this event is finished. I'm not liking the look of all that poison stuff underneath me. But I've made a commitment. And I'm gonna stick to it. Oh! Am I good? So yeah, it's a pretty stupid build. You know, it's not a meta build at all, but you know, it works. It works pretty well for what it is, which was a meme to begin with. But yeah, I mean, I know some of you are probably already thinking, well, that's all very well and good, Dalkora, but what's it like on a boss? And what I'll do is I'll insert a clip here of my cat one-shotting, or basically one-shotting Uber Grigor with a worse version of this build, like a more general Thorns build. This is like a proper only Thorns build. And so that should give you a pretty good idea of what it can do with bosses. Now, you got to be aware that some bosses don't have a lot of physical attacks and can be quite a pain in the ass for Thorns. But for a lot of them, you can pretty much just stand in front of them, go make a cup of tea, and you come back to loot. So that's always fun. But let's break down the gear. Like I said, no Uber uniques in here. So we've just got Temerity and Magnum Opus. Temerity you don't need. It's just a nice little boost with damage because of Conceited here. And we have so many affixes. Sorry, we have so many aspects available to use. I actually kind of just ran out of ideas, because if I didn't have conceited, I just don't even know what I'd put here. Maybe elements. So, you know, we did this for a little bit of a damage boost, but you could just wear regular pants and add another like edge masters up here, put elements there perhaps, and then just run like 4DR pants with protector or something on them. That would work perfectly well. You'd be way more tanky. Magnum Opus is a nice damage boost. For those of you who are wondering, would this be stronger with Uber Uniques? It would be insane with Uber Uniques. If you had a Salix plus a Starless Skies, you would be invincible on top of doing an extra 40% damage. And if you had like an Andariel's Visage, you'd also have like an unlimited heal. So you could basically never ever die if you put those uniques on here. Like, I'm talking like you just couldn't. There's just no way you would die. And other than that, we're just basically building out through clever use of, like, you know, multiple aspects. And I'll leave that to the build planner to describe. Otherwise, this video will end up being like 25 minutes long. And you can obviously, you know, refer back to it at your own leisure that way as well. As for the pet, like I said, no Ubers here either. So we got Tempest with the damage reduction, Fortify, Swift just to, you know, get it attacking more often to get these procced up. So that's really nice. And then over here we have Reconstruct, which is the heal with the cooldown and the teleport. Now, I don't actually know if the pet does teleport to me to get the heal off if he's not in range. I've not seen him do it, so I'm guessing it works because it says it works, but it's like one of those things with Diablo where I don't know whether to trust the tooltip or not. But, you know, the heal on here is a lot of fun because it actually overheals you, which gives you that temerity barrier. It doesn't work as well as I would like. You know, if I had perhaps not, if I wasn't using temerity, I definitely wouldn't use Reconstruct. I wouldn't need it. And it's not the smoothest thing in the world, but when it does go off, you just basically become invincible for like 5 seconds, which is great fun. And then finally, the Paragon board. And there's not anything really that special going on here either. We have Ambidextrous, so we have, by just having your dual wield weapons in your hand, which my character does by default. If he doesn't, just swing an attack with the dual wield, then take the skill off the bar if you want to. Disembowel will give us some cooldown reduction because we are bleeding enemies through Thorns. Exploit to get that vulnerable on them. Territorial because close damage plus damage reduction is very nice. And then we've got Ire, which is just a must for the Barbarian. And yeah, just a pretty generic board. You know, for a Max Fury build, you've probably seen one like this before in many of my builds, or at least, you know, something similar in any other build that you've tried or put together yourself. But again, I won't go through this point to point. I think the best thing to do would be to leave that for the build planner because you can just copy it across from there. Now, as for the skills, man, there's not much going on here. Obviously, very heavy into the passives. So, you know, we've got any tanky passive, shout passive that I could get my hands on. And all of these, I got all of these. Got some Max Fury over here for extra damage, unconstrained. These 2 points are literally doing nothing, so I will probably just pop those in there. And the build planner will reflect that little change. That's not a big change. It really doesn't make much of a difference. But yeah, as you can see, just 1 point into the shouts. And that's about it. That's the build. Honestly, I don't even know if I should release this, but I mean, let me know what you think. Should I make more funny, like just weird, quirky, meme builds, test them out, kind of put them through their paces in hardcore? I am trying my best to make a version of this that has no skills. I did do it. However, it was really slow compared to this. So I think I probably need to use some Uber Uniques, but I'm very certain I can do a no skill build and clear tier 100s. But if you have any ideas, feel free to share them with me. Share your thoughts with the build. And, you know, it is what it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video. Check out the Twitch down in the description below. Like I said, a big stream, Race to 100 last epoch later tonight. And thanks for watching. And a huge thank you to everybody who supports the streams, my YouTube channel members, Patreon supporters, and everyone over on Twitch. Love you guys. Take care until the next one. Bye now.